Outlaw Rogue in Midnight Season 1, it's smoother and more explosive than ever. But the real win condition isn't raw rotation, it's apex management. Gravedigger plus the new talents tweaks change how you generate and spend finishers. Learn this and you'll be outpacing most Outlaw players from week 1. So let's dive right onto it. So, Outlaw Identity. Season 1 Outlaw, it's all about momentum. You generate combo points quickly, you spend them inside brief windows, and you use the Apex talents effects to multiply your finishers. So let's go through the most important talents and why they work and why you should use them basically. So these talents define the entire spec right now. Gravedigger, which is the Apex talent right now, this is one of the biggest damage amplifiers. Gravedigger massively boosts your finisher value and turns proper combo point spending into sustained damage scaling. Meaning, the better you manage your combo points, the higher overall DPS you get. So as we can see right here on the screen, the early nodes, so 1 point on the Apex talent, Between the Eyes gains the chance of apply extra damage stacks, increasing the Between the Eyes baseline. So in the middle nodes, which is 2 points, if you cast Dispatch at 5 or more combo points, creates an extra proc damage event that generates resources stacks through your capstone. So the capstone is the last one of the Gravedigger effects. When you have enough generated stacks, your next Between the Eyes consumes them for a massive, nearly free Between the Eye nuke. Very low, no energy, big combo point generation and snapshot damage. This turns Gravedigger into a build to consume loop. Generate via dispatch, consume with Between the Eyes, then dispatch again. So let's see how the Gravedigger changes the priority. With Gravedigger you slightly reorder your priorities. You actively are feeding dispatch to build your stacks, and you time Between the Eyes as the consumption instead of the main generator. That flips the typical Between the Eyes timing. Fast action becomes stronger, expert duelist becomes higher value, and Zero In turns passive autos into resource accelerators. So the next talent that you want to use, it's Menacing Rush. And why we want to use Menacing Rush? Menacing Rush basically improves our Adrenaline Rush, which magnifies our precision and power and decreases our damage and combo point generating by 20% while Adrenaline Rush is active. So that is very good. So the other talent that you want to use, it's the Fan of the Hammer. The Fan of the Hammer was reworked in Midnight. It massively increases the opportunity generator or consumption. You can build more opportunity stacks, and pistol shot variants consume more stacks. This changes generator pacing. With Fan of the Hammer you get heavier, faster combo point generation from pistol shot windows. You use them to accelerate dispatch stacks for the Gravedigger Apex talent. So one of the next talents that we want to use, it's Zero In. Zero In makes your auto attacks critical strike increase damage and critical strike chance of your next Between the Eyes by 3%, stacking up to 20 times. So as you can see, this talent is very good because it amplifies our damage and converts auto attack crits into stronger finishers. So as Outlaw attacks constantly, these talents passively increase the damage output. One of the other talents that we want to use, it's Dragonbone Dice. Dragonbone Dice smooths roll the bones outcomes, massively reducing bad buff cycles. This makes your damage far more reliable in Mythic Plus and random counters. So as we can see, all the 4 buffs that we gain are stronger with this one, so we always want to use this one, so keep in mind that. Alright guys, so this is the talent that we are using for M+. We are using the Trickster, and of course don't need to worry, everything is going to be on the description down below as always. So I'm going to show you right now the build that I use for raids, which is the Trickster as well. I'm still trying to see if the Fate one is going to be better or not, but as we know, there's not going to be buffs or nerfs until the 24th. So we're still trying to see which one is better, but I believe Trickster will be better just because of the Cup of Grace buff. And this is the single target build. For the stats, this is the stats that I have, and what do we want? We want haste, crit, versa, and mastery. Of course, this is a little bit messed up because I'm trying to have the 3 builds at the same time for doing the videos. That's why my stats are not completely perfect. So now we're gonna see how the Apex talents and the tier set basically connect together. So the tier set, as we can see right now on the screen, we can see that the tier set for Outlaw, the 2 pieces, basically your Blade Rush damage is increased by 30%, which is insane, because your Blade Rush basically gives 100% damage to the non-primary targets, and the damage to your primary targets is increased by an additional 15%. The 4-piece set, Blade Rush cooldown is reduced by 6% and decreases your damage dealt by 5% for 8 seconds. So the overall damage from the Outlaw tier set, it's gonna be really good. And as we talked about, I believe Outlaw it's gonna be the best spec of rogues on the season 1 of Midnight. And everything, as we can see, it's basically gonna connect together and give us more damage output on the overall. So for the rotation we're gonna start with Roll the Bones, Adrenaline Rush. We have to put all the buffs first, so you're gonna go Blade Fury and Blade Rush, then you're gonna go Between the Eyes, and then, as Outlaw doesn't have a fixed rotation, it basically is a priority system, as we talked about. So you're basically gonna go through your order basically. So the priority system that you want to use, if you have the stacks of the Apex talents, because it's not the same that it was on the pre-patch. Because if you had Between the Eyes on the pre-patch, you'll basically just spend Between the Eyes just to increase your damage. But now with these procs that you can see on the left side, those are the procs that you want, and the more that you can spend, the more Between the Eyes damage you can stack, basically. So you basically want, as we said multiple times, you want to build the stacks with Dispatch and spend them with the Between the Eyes when you have more than 5. So as you guys can see, Outlaw it's very good on his damage profile. It's not a spec that it's bursty, but it's a spec that definitely has a very good damage profile on very high keys. And I really believe Outlaw might be even the better spec of rogues for the season, just because of all the things that basically the Apex talents and the tier set basically combines together. And I basically think Outlaw can perform really good on the beginning of the season. But for the rotation, that's basically it. You want to use the priority system, and of course the priority system I'm gonna go through again. It's Between the Eyes, then Dispatch. To build combo points, you always want to use Sinister Strike, and of course Sinister Strike will trigger sometimes Opportunity. You always want to use Pistol Shot only if you have the Opportunity procs, and of course if you have 6 Opportunity procs, you want to use that with 3 or more combo points. And if you don't have 3 and if you don't have the 6 stacks, you want to use at 3 stacks with 2 or more combo points, basically. So now let's go through some practical M plus and raid usage that we can do on the beginning of the season. So practical rules for M plus. For the trash, you spam Dispatch to build stacks on safe packets, so you basically can use them later on with your Apex talents and have the increased damage profile. The second one, it's pull with biggest returns, so consume before the pack you want to melt, align with Adrenaline Rush, as we talked before. The bosses, only consume if Adrenaline Rush plus Trinker or tier set alignment exists, otherwise just hold them until you have basically the full burst. And the mobility, Menacing Rush and Fan of the Hammer rewards non-stopping, so plan movements so you still attack where's possible. These are the things that turns numbers into winners. Alright guys, so this guide come to an end. I hope this guide helped you in any form possible. The next guide is going to be the assassination guide, and after that I'm going to do another UI update guide because my UI just changed a little bit, so I'm going to update you guys on that too. So I hope this guide helped you. If it did, please drop a like and a subscribe. That would really help me if you're not still subscribed. Thank you for watching. My name is Musget and I'll see you on the next video.